Jamestown Settlement, 1619. A new law requires every farmer to cultivate hemp on his land. Philadelphia, 1776. Thomas Jefferson pens the Declaration of Independence on paper made from hemp fiber. Washington, D.C., 1937. Congress passes the Marijuana Tax Act outlawing the production of marijuana and industrial hemp. America, 1942. A government-sponsored campaign encourages farmers to grow hemp for the war effort.
Hemp for tackle and gear. Hemp for countless naval uses, both on ship and shore. Just as in the days when old Ironside sailed the seas victorious, with her hempen shrouds and hempen sails. Hemp for victory.
Shortly after World War II, the ban on hemp is reinstated.
It's blatant, sheer ignorance of history, or of pathology, or of true chemistry.
I mean, if we want to be a throwaway society, then the least we can do is make what we throw away biodegradable.
It just makes a lot of sense, and anyone that had any sense would support it.
It's a lot bigger issue than just hemp in itself.
If this concept had started in this country when the founding fathers put it together, we'd be a whole different nation today.
What did it take us to do to get out of the caves and advance to this level in life?
If it wasn't so funny, you'd want to cry thinking how stupid we are as Americans.
The same thing has always been true. Trial and error, truth and fiction.
I mean, if you could introduce a fiber crop into a rotation with corn and soybeans, you've got something that brings some balance back into the whole operation.
Our farming system right now is so focused on corn and soybeans, and there's too much of it, and we can't sell it, and we're not making any money off of it, and you got to subsidize it.
I mean, we're all drowning in overproduction. As far as you can see out here, all you see is soybeans and corn.
With a crop like hemp, you can use it in all these different stages of growth. You can plant it and harvest it in just a few months. You can plant it and harvest it in several months, depending on what uses you're going to put it to. Anyone who knew anything about recycling would support it. If they knew anything about farming, they would support it.
We have a lot of farmers out here today who are barely hanging on. If it wasn't for the government checks that they're getting, which they really don't want to be receiving, but they take them so they can stay in business.
It's the environment. It's our heritage. It's what we're going to give on to future generations.
You can use every part of the plant. It doesn't take a lot of herbicides or pesticides to grow. It's better for the water supplies.
Is there going to be anything here for the future generations?
And if this concept can survive and develop and grow and turn our whole way of existing around, it'll have just incredible impact on the world and the self-sufficiency of much of the rest of the world.
I think it's really unfortunate and totally ridiculous that there's all this prejudice against it.
There's a couple of farmers up in North Dakota that they have land both in the United States and in Canada. Well, they can grow the crop on their land in Canada, but they can't grow it on the crop on their land in the United States. And those guys, they look at each other every day and they go, huh?
Because if you take the seed that we would use and were using to raise fiber hemp and analyzed it, it would be exactly like non-alcoholic beer. It'd be less than 0.5% tetrahydrocannabinol. Word I never heard of till I got involved in this thing.
You have the DEA right in the middle of this thing saying, hemp is marijuana. You have the marijuana proponents that are in favor of marijuana. So you have these two groups kind of fighting each other, with the farmers sitting in the middle losing money every day because they can't have access to another crop.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
And it's all fueled by the drug war.
Right.
I mean, it's a casualty. I won't say it's fueled by it. I'll say it's a casualty of the drug war.
So what do we do to keep ourselves from being ignorant? I bet I'll go and find out.
The technology has all gone into improving the strains, improving the hybrids, but not much has gone into actually finding new crops which could send farming in new directions and create, a new paradigm for agriculture.
I will probably be involved with trying to change it until it gets changed, or I die. I guess that's about as encompassing as you can get, isn't it?
How can you call this America, the land of free and home of the brave, when we don't allow our farmers the same freedom as the Chinese farmers? My grandfather was a hemp farmer. Why shouldn't my grandson be a hemp farmer? So, no, I don't plan on quitting. Not anytime soon.
Now, how do you get the truth in this whole thing? The French had the trouble, the English had the trouble, Canadians had the trouble. Is it a mystery to you we're one of the few places on earth you can't produce it? Does that say you're smarter than everybody, or does it show your blatant ignorance? Which one?